Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the channel. You know, if you're a subscriber, I know we're pushing for that 100. Thank you for all that have joined for the party. We have a special one today. This is the Bronco Sport 2021, and it's a big bend. And it's kind of a trim level that is very entry for this model, and there's not a lot of extra goodies on it. So this one in particular, stickers for around 31 and change. You know, so the only options this has is a $500 safety package and a $500 hitch and some floor mats, and that's really it. But you'll notice when we do this whole rundown, this little walk around, you do get a lot of nice stuff just standard with these little trucks. So with these Bronco Sports, you know, this is the smaller variant of the, you know, the full size that everyone's kind of excited for later in the year. But these are still really, really great vehicles, and they do just about everything that most people could need. I mean, we're in South Florida here. You know, most people are just driving on the highway and stuff. So definitely a great truck. You have 4x4 standard. This happens to be the 3-cylinder 1.5, so you'll have about 170, I think 177 horsepower, and you know, in the 200s, I think low 200s as far as torque. Surprisingly peppy motor because it's turboed, and you do have some cool drive modes. They call them GOAT modes baked in on the car. You can switch them on the fly. It's really fun. So front of the hood, or front of the vehicle, just looking right up there, let me kind of brighten this up so you can see these big bends. They kind of have this open vented gray grille with the white lettering. You'll also see you have LED standard, and as we kind of look even lower here, you got the fog lights, the hash marks. I mean, really, they're surprising for me. How they're not small, but they're also not big. So I like to think of it as like an elongated, also higher off the ground Jeep Renegade, which probably isn't the best compare. You know, people probably don't want to hear that, but the headroom is really surprising. You seat up, you have a really great seating position. It feels a lot bigger inside. It looks like a little mini Range Rover too. They're really sharp. You have some Continental tires, and I think the wheels, I want to say standard, they're just like 17s. You can see them right there. Pretty sharp. You'll see a lot of Bronco emblems and badging, not a lot of Ford stuff. Ford definitely wants you to kind of get along with the Bronco spirit here. There you go. You see the big bend right there. These big bends, not a lot of like crazy trims, so you kind of see here, you know, the more like black plastics you'll have on the mirror caps and the door handles. If there's one thing I could say, I can close that real quick. If there's one thing I could say about them, for some reason for plastic, it feels a lot better than like some of the older ones, or maybe it just looks nicer. You have some gloss black plastic up there. And you can kind of see this dent in the hood, or the roof, this little indent. So that is so you can actually stow two mountain bikes in this trunk of this Bronco Sport. I mean, it's really it's a surprising amount of vehicle. All right. And so usually when I get to the back here, I kind of show off the key, but there's a few little quirks and features I want to show you guys. See the Bronco lettering there, if I can get it. Yeah, there you go. The Bronco Sport. This one does have the receiver. Look, we can't even get it on right. Look at this, guys. I'm gonna have to tell the owner. So, something I found really cool with these, you have two different buttons on the tailgate. You have a door and as well as a glass latch. So the right one is for the door, just to release it, and then the right one, or the left one, the left one is to release the glass. You pop that, it will release this right here. Take your hand, boom. So what can you use that for? Well, you know me, I'm a surfer, so no. But you know, I mean, you can fit stuff in here. It's cool. It's some flexibility. You know, really cool stuff. And I'm gonna close this. You can, if you can make that out, you actually have a little Bronco in the back glass. I thought that's really cool. So you'll see that when you're looking in your windshield. I'll close this. It doesn't really come up at all here, but it's right next to there. I'm gonna open up the tailgate real quick. Now, before I get too carried away, I want to show you the key. So this is the standard key fob. Kind of noticed this if you have any Ford before. So it kind of looks like that. Come on, get the. There we go. Kind of looks like that. You get a little Bronco badging to the right of it. Looks good. Tailgate release, lock, unlock, emergency. Now, as far as what's going on in here, surprising amount of space. I'd say the biggest flaw is your second row legroom, not the biggest. Headroom off the chain, and if your front seat driver is willing to just move up a little bit, everyone will be sitting real pretty and comfortably in these guys. Cool things that I've noticed, you got the little Bronco logos in your lighting. You also have a button right here on the left hand side. That little light button, if I slowly look up the trunk, there's actually little ground lighting that you can push in and project in different directions, and that has like a 20 foot distance. So at night, if you're camping or whatever, you can actually project ground lighting on the ground, and that's a button just right here in your trunk. I think that's just really cool. I love how Ford does, you know, useful stuff. Speaking of useful stuff, all you alcoholics, you got a bottle opener built in. You know, that's the American dream, I guess, for Ford. And then you also get these cool little clips in here, and you get 4 of them. Little tie downs or clips, whatever you want to call them. They're pretty substantial too. They're not like, they don't feel super cheap. They are plastic, but still pretty nice. And then in here you have these mats, and usually you just see a rubber mat and you're like, oh, that's for the bed or whatever. But actually, if you look on the seats, the back of the seats, this reminds me of like these, like the G-Wagons and stuff, like, or the Range Rovers and stuff. You have these clips, and you can actually clip in these like weather mats. So when the seats are folded down, you have, you know, a lot more flexibility, you know, a lot more ruggedness, I guess is the word. So definitely a good job in that aspect. You know, it doesn't have that soft close stuff that the Germans got. You know, we're not there yet, but keep in mind, this is $30,000, guys. This is supposed to be more useful than anything. We're gonna check out the second row now. Can I get this to give you a good view? Oh no. All right, so door trim wise, I've seen some complaints, and I disagree. I think this is really nice. I think it just is very easy to clean, durable, it's put together well. It's gonna be hard to see back here because of the lighting, but you do get a USB and a USB-C down there for passengers in the second row. You have a little strap here to pull down for some cup holders. Your roof in the back, like your headroom, I've never been in a vehicle like this. I mean, even super big vehicles, they just don't feel like they have the headroom that this has. That's like one of my biggest takeaways driving this, like the leg room and the headroom. Really not the leg room, the headroom. Gosh, don't be lying, John. I'm gonna have a little peek back here. If you can make out. It's kind of hard to make out, but there is a little Bronco there, I promise. So now to the fun stuff. I want to show you the interior. You do have some keyless entry stuff, so you have the little touch sensitive ridges on the door handle to lock the vehicle. And you have the unlock, which is a little pad inside the door handle. So you walk up to it, unlocks. And then furthermore, if anyone's had a Ford before, you'll know this stuff. You have the keyless entry. You can customize a 5-digit code to unlock and lock. So, I mean, really nice amount of equipment. I'm gonna remind you of the price again, $31,000 MSRP. Really nice, really did a good job. Interior, so what's going on here? I need to get a wide lens, that's what I've learned. Door trim, nice. And I'm gonna turn it on. Without baking, it is hot. Let's get the AC going. So I got really nice steering wheel. It is like plastic, rubberized, you know, so it doesn't like feel the best. But you know, my biggest takeaway from this is that all this stuff in here, soft touch or hard, whatever it is, it seems like it will last a while. And that's, oh, I love it. I love the dash. I love all the trim in here. I sound like such a little nut fanboy, because I am. But even like the vents, like I even like the vents. Like, Ford, thank you for doing the vents right. I like the vents. What other fun stuff? Without me losing my my cord just went in front of my screen, so okay. I'm losing my train of thought because there's so much to talk about. I'm so excited to show you this vehicle. We're gonna start up front here. I want to show you these gauges. You know, the 4-inch screen in the center, nothing too crazy going on there. This is being so stubborn. Alright, now that's a little bit better. I apologize, guys. Thanks for hanging in there with me. But the gauges are really nice. I love having physical analog gauges. The little screen, you have some arrow keys on the steering wheel, so I can press OK. You see a little picture of the car. You can cycle through different info, phone info, music, a little compass, and some basic, you know, just vehicle stuff that you'd normally expect. On the left side of the steering wheel, you have some light controls for not only your fogs, but also your LEDs and stuff, as well as the intensity of the display. On the steering wheel, left-hand side, I mentioned this has like a safety package. That's where this stuff comes into play. You have adaptive cruise control, which is these two buttons right here. So this vehicle, well, this AC is probably going too hard for you guys to even hear. The adaptive cruise control can speed up and slow down depending on the drivers in front of you. Wicked stuff. I mean, once you get used to some of this crazy safety stuff, you'll never go back. or maybe we will. Who am I to judge? You have lane keeping right here. You can turn that on and off. You'll see on the display when I turn it on and off, it'll kind of give you a message. You have to be going over 40 miles an hour. You'll see some lanes in your display up there. They'll be green if you're doing good, red if you're doing bad. You'll feel some feedback on the steering wheel. Cool stuff. Over here you have your push button start. Nice to have that standard. And then you'll also notice down here in the center cubby, you have USB-C, a regular USB, and then the 12-volt power outlet. So you're pretty future-proof. And you have this kind of like I want to say it's a durable, kind of like rubber mat. Ford's just definitely trying to make everything look kind of like durable and rugged, and I like it. Over here, center console. Big qualm for some people is the rotary dial shifter. You know, if anything, it's kind of cool that they kind of added, you know, the grip stuff around the edges. That's kind of nice. You know, a little bit different compared to the other ones. But, you know, kind of like one of those things. Not crazy about it, but, you know, I'll live with it. You do have a electronic parking brake, and then a new feature for Ford, at least. It's 20 years old for some of these other guys, but a hold brake. So that's this button right here. You turn that on, and if you're in drive, like I'll do right here, and I'm stopped, the vehicle automatically holds the brake for me. So I just took my foot off the brake, and the vehicle is actually stopped. It's holding the brake for me. I just have to press the gas, and I'll start going forward. I'm not really going to use that right now because I'm trying to film, and God forbid I did something. Holy shit. Over here, Ford is loving this. They're really proud of this. GOAT modes. So it doesn't mean greatest of all time. It means goes over any type of terrain. And you'll have different modes based on the trim. This is the Big Bend, so it'll kind of have your standard ones, and I'll turn it right here so you can see. So you have normal, sand, and then I'll go to the other side. You have economy, sport, and then slippery. So all of these will adjust not only like the traction control, but also the 4x4 system, and like throttle response and shifting and stuff like that. It's cool. You will feel a difference when you kind of like play in between them. Other little knickknacks to mention since I got you in here. This is Ford Sync system. Works really well. Don't want to bore you to death on it, but it does work with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. I like to think it's pretty responsive. Once you're going, you're really not fighting anything. This one happens to have a navigation built in, and it does work with an app called Ford Pass, so you can turn this on and off from your phone. It's like a virtual key. You know, lock it, unlock it, check the last place it was parked. Totally free. All that stuff is super, super cool. Now, I think I've covered most of the stuff. I didn't really get a good look on the back seat. If I'm going to mention anything in the back, you do have some, like, I think they call them mole straps in the back. I'm going to kind of exit here also. Do a little pop the hood, see if I can get anything. It is a pull too, and another cool thing about the hood, it's kind of got those dents or whatever you call it. They're lifted up. It looks so cool. You know, it looks like, like a Mustang. You have that long hood. Like this is kind of, it has that, but it looks like muscular and stuff. You have some presence in this. I'm really so much more of a fan than I ever thought I'd be. This is gonna make my time codes an absolute nightmare. But I'm going back to the mole straps because I forgot to mention them. But you do have these little straps here that you can, tie things down. You have them on both seats back there. It's hard to make that out. And then you also have these zip pockets in the back seat. So I just thank you, Ford, for just I think thinking about useful things that people will actually use. And like I don't need a bunch of crazy buttons. And then here's your engine bay. I really have no idea what's going on here. I will not pretend to be someone that I am not. I am just a paper pushing salesman that likes to shoot pictures and now is taking videos. But it is it seems organized, and the engine, I've driven the car. It's actually, it's surprising. It feels good. I've heard complaints about roughness. I don't think anyone that is used to having a Ford, I would say, will have any complaints. I guess I'm only used to Ford, so I don't really, I'm pretty spoiled, or not spoiled, I suppose. But I don't, and regular roads, I have no problems with this at all. I think it's very comfy. You also average about 30 miles per gallon. I'll have to push that down. That didn't sound too nice. Last thing I'm gonna peek at, I've got a lot of people ask me for the window sticker. You can see my ugly ass, but the MSRP of this guy is $31,275, and if you can notice, this is a Big Bend. It's iconic silver, and the only options are right down there: Ford Copilot 360 Plus, Assist Plus, floor liners for $200, a cargo mat for $130, and then the trailer hitch in the back, that was $495. And that is everything. I know that's really hard to make out, and everything has been hard to make out of this video, including myself jibber jabbering. But this thing is about to be sold, and I want to make sure I can get a video. We literally have not been able to keep these on the freaking lot. Haven't been able to keep anything on the lot. They just like come in and go. And it's not even that I think they're super special. But I do think it is kind of like Ford, like putting themselves in a segment that they weren't before. And I think they're going to get a lot of like Jeep people. I think they're going to get a lot of the Toyota people, like from the RAV4 and stuff. And I think it's a very compelling package. I'm so freaking biased, but I really think Ford did a great job with this. I got the door open so it looked crazy, but it looks good and it drives good. And I mean, the other stuff that it can do, like the 4x4 stuff, and like the rugged stuff, it actually does do. And I haven't personally done those videos, but you know, you can find them online. It's definitely capable, and if anything, it's more capable than any of the competitors. So, you know, as a lousy salesman, I'm pretty proud showing these vehicles off. I've been, you know, obviously excited myself. As we get more and more in, I will try and get, the Badlands and all the other trims, the Outer Banks as well. I have a customer that ordered a first edition. If I'm able, if he allows me to make a video on it, I will absolutely try and do that. And yeah, if there's any recommendations that you guys have, please leave them below. You know, I do read all your guys' comments, mean or otherwise, and I appreciate all the support as well. You know, we're bumping it up to 100 subscribers now, and you know, just keep on pushing, keep on trucking, as we Ford people, I guess, will say. And we get in other stuff too. You know, if I get in a cool trade, I'm going to try and pop in that, you know, and yeah, I'm just like a car guy that likes doing this shit. I will kind of plug in some of my information, I guess, below. If you do ever want to order something, you know, I could do all that stuff. We don't play games and all that jazz. No dealer fees. I'm pretty sure I can get the GM's approval, but if you contact me from like YouTube or like online, well, and it's an order, I probably can get away with just doing invoice, no fees, all the rebates, you know, just make it easy. And I'll be super transparent. I'll even show it to you. Getting a car should be something that you're excited about, but I don't even want to get stuck with that stuff on here. I kind of just want to show vehicles off and get people excited about some of the stuff that I'm excited about. But yeah, good job, Ford. You do got the little Ford logo on the back, so I think that's the only place you'll find Ford on these guys. All right, so if you hung out this long, thank you. Please, if you like any of this type of stuff, feel free, like. Please don't dislike. You know, but yeah, like, dislike, whatever. Leave a comment down below. I love talking to y'all, and please consider subscribing. I'm going to keep on doing this stuff, and thanks guys, have a good one.